Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Fair Life. This is the post Sherwood Forest Fair edition of Fair Life, at least the post opening weekend, because not that I'm the least bit tired at all or anything like that. No, no. No, I'll be honest, that first weekend kicked my butt hard. It was yeah, it was definitely a thing. There's nothing like the first weekend of fair to remind you of how much of a lazy bum you are, or at least have been for the previous month. Because man, but it got me in the swing of things again, which I do love. But hey, great to see you, Janine and Damaris and Kathy and Greg and Kat and Jan and Gwendolyn and Nancy. Yes. Thanks for joining. And wow, just another crazy weekend. A lot of fun, a lot of things to talk about, really. But I guess I'll just start off by saying it was great to see everybody. And you know, it's one of those things where you forget how wonderful fair is when you're not there for a while. When you're not there for a few months, you get into other projects, get into a groove, and it's all. But then I'm back at fair and I'm playing music and I'm jamming with all these other musicians and having a great time. And it's like once again happiest time of my life. So really love it. Really love it. And Alicia's on too. So excellent, excellent. Um, wow. Okay. Okay. And Randy, excellent. Lisa, thanks for joining. Ah, yes, yes, Jan. Yes, there was a moment where I got a request in the audience to do Old Dun Cow, and it, yeah. I mean, I've never really have played lead on that. I've never done the singing on it. I've always played second. Just done the melody on the recorder or the mandolin. I'm not kidding. Never. I mean, I can play along, but I've never had to sing it, and it kind of threw me as that is on my list, and I need to learn that. So I'm going to learn it by next weekend. So and believe it or not, I've already started checking it out and putting together my own arrangement. I don't steal arrangements from other people. I put together my own. I'm not that guy. So yeah, I'm working on that, and it should be a lot of fun. It should be a lot of fun. Um, so don't worry, Jan. I will do it. Yes. So yeah, do any of you not are any of you not familiar with the song "Old Dun Cow"? I'm sure most of you have probably heard it if you've gone to fair before. It's a very, very, very common, very common song in Irish music and fair music. Um, so yes, yes. If anybody's not familiar, you can look it up, Old Dun Cow, and oh yeah, and Randy's saying that singing it for 20 years. Yes, yes. That's I understand. I mean, I know most of the lyrics off the top of my head, possibly all of them. I'm not 100% sure. But one thing I'm going through is there are several different versions of the song, so I want to tweak it and find the version I want to do that just makes the most sense to me and do my arrangement. So that's what I'm doing this week. I will have Old Dun Cow by this weekend. So I haven't forgotten, Jan. Woo! Yeah, Cat McIntyre, you got it. Yes, yes. No, I'm not doing the 17 minutes long version, Alicia. No, I am not. I no, no, I'm not. I'm not. I actually thought about it for a second, but no, I will not do that. That's a little nuts. I mean, although it really would be easy to add several more verses. No, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. But I will. I will put something together. Oh, okay. Kathy had to learn that for a fair that you worked. Okay. Yes, yes. It is a classic. It is a classic, very much a pub song. Very much. Literally, too, because it is about what happened in a pub. So, oh, yeah, with the jokes, yeah, you can do the banter and make it last for a long time. Especially if you're in a group with lots of people on stage, it is really easy to do that. But for a solo artist, it's harder to make that work. So yeah, it's probably going to be more the 4.5 minute version for me, honestly. Um, Yeah, Janine, that's actually a really good point. That is a really good point. That it's interesting, when you hear several versions of a song and you usually like the first one because, yeah, I mean, there's something about the first one of anything, whether it's the first home you had, the first car, that sort of nostalgia for the first of something that just exceeds others. The first Star Wars movie. Yeah, I mean it's that kind of thing. So yeah, I totally get that, Janine. It is the first version can be a huge influence, and as a musician, that actually is a very difficult thing to get past because you do want to make something your own, but this first version you heard, you want to change it, so you have to actually try to step back from that and make changes to something that for you it's supposed to be this way in your head. You have to try to be objective. So that is a challenge as a musician and an arranger. Um, okay, okay. Oh, excellent. Glad you could join us, Kurt. And you're right, Janine. 4.5 minutes is pretty long for a song nowadays. But when you have audience participation and jokes in between each verse and everything, I mean, it's sort of like you're adding an extra couple of verses anyway. So it's really like a 3-minute song with an extra minute, minute and a half of silliness. So that's okay. But I think 4.5 minutes is about the max because really, yeah, I mean, you really don't want to go too long on a song unless it's some sort of a medley or something like that. It can start to get a little boring if you're not careful, and that's something you have to look at when you're arranging songs. Definitely. Um, yeah. Now that one, Janine, the "Have Some Madeira, Madeira," because of the subject matter, I don't think we can ever perform that again. It's one of those that we talked about, and it was kind of like, that's not exactly a very good subject matter. I mean, it's a little dark in a few ways. It was 20 years ago, that was okay. Now, not so much. So, yeah. Yeah, that I don't think we can actually do that anymore. And there are several songs like that. Yeah. And Alicia's right. You can just add that extra verse at the end to Disneyfy it up and add a happy ending. Yes. And Randy's right. Yeah, it is not that long for a Ren Fair song. 4.5 minutes. You're right. But like I said, this is a pub song, so you'll hear this at Irish pubs and places like that all the time. And getting 6, 7, 10-minute songs there at an Irish pub, you can have one of those, but if several songs are like that, that starts to get a little rough. I think that can hurt a show if you're not careful. Well, yes. The beer medley, I did do one show that was 30 minutes long with a medley, but I switched around and did different songs. So that's how you cheat and you get away with it. You're actually doing a full show of a lot of different songs, but there's just no space in between. Oh, excellent. Well, thank you. Thank you, Damaris. I appreciate that. Yeah, and that there tends to be two camps with the unicorn song. Those that think it's great the way it is, unicorns, they're stupid, they deserve it, and those that say no, not unicorns, they must live. That's kind of the thing. So yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, Kathy, I can totally see that. But pub sing at the end of the day is dangerous too, and we found that out on Saturday when we started a little late because we were trying to get we were at a new stage at Sherwood. Well, sort of an old stage that was rebuilt down at the Trip to Jerusalem over there pub across from Elvin Hill, where it has been the last few years, and trying to get the sound all figured out. We started late, and I got my song in, but one of the other groups, Rover's Way, didn't get to do a song on Saturday, and I felt really bad about it. They were cool about it, but I made sure to talk to Alan Adale, who runs the pub sing now at Sherwood, and said, "Help, make sure they get their song. Let them go first." And he said, "Sure, no problem, totally." So but we had that extra time. We started on time, and it was okay, so no problems. But yeah, you worry about that because you're just one of the performers out there who can do songs, and if yours is too long, can cut into other people's time. So you gotta be careful with that. You really do. Exactly. Yeah, and she's saying that too. Ah, right. I love Rover's Way. They're great. Oh, and David is totally right. Yeah, the sound situation gets rebuilt every year. It is, it's a challenge. It really is. It's not easy. It is not an easy process, and we have some pretty good sound guys over there at Sherwood who help out a lot. I mean, they they you can tell they're stressed. They're not just doing some side things in their spare time. They're working their butts off, and give them a lot of credit. It's not easy to try to work that on a moment's notice and jump around and try to make it all work. So that is a huge factor, and yeah, it is nice. Oh, okay. Lionheart is better this year. That's great. That is a tough one to uh, that's a tough one to set up sound for because of the way it's designed. It's just there's not really an easy way to do it. It's sort of like you have a few different options on where to put the speakers, and none of them are going to be perfect. So you're losing out depending on how you set it up in some way. So you just have to pick your battle and go with it. And so that is good. Yeah, yeah. Wolf is the sound tech who's been been helping us so far, and he does a good job. So very lucky, and he I'm not kidding. He really works it hard. So we are very lucky to have him. Um, oh, really? That's excellent. Yeah, Rover's Way. I love. They're great. They are great. Matt and Kira are really, really wonderful and really nice people, and also very talented. So the perfect combination. I like it. Oh yeah. So yeah. Okay. Okay. On Sunday, Lionheart Sound, Three Stags is great now. Yeah. Yeah. I think they've come a long way. Ended up I ended up trying out a new wireless setup, and the first day I accidentally paired all of my transmitters to one receiver. I know, and I didn't have the instructions with me, and I didn't know how to undo that. So I just used one mic at the Three Stags pub on Saturday. Went home, figured it out, got it all set up. Sunday, I just went with the basic setup, and it worked. So everything will be, perfect on this next weekend. But that's kind of what it is. It's rehearsal weekend. I mean, the first weekend is kind of rehearsal weekend. Um, but yeah, yeah, that's always good. Yeah, yeah, that's Matt and Kira. Matt, the pride of Ireland, and it is. Yeah, I think that they are a good match. It works out. Finding a second person for a duo is not easy because I mean you have to mesh personality wise, musically, and I don't mean you should be alike. Actually, no, it's often better if you're not quite exactly alike. That you're both bringing different things to the table, and that is really helpful. So yeah, it's a really tough thing to do. And you're right, also, also a good couple. So that always helps. But yeah, let's go ahead and bring in Alacia real quick if we can. Is that okay? Let's go ahead and do that and see if she's available. I know there was a little pixelization in her signal, so let's see if that's still there. Let's give it a try. Oh, I think I see her. There she is. And she's sticking her tongue out at me. Okay, can you say something so we can actually hear you?
Something.
Okay, that's better. Okay.
Sorry about the pixelation, guys. It's been an ongoing battle.
Yeah, I mean, we keep trying to figure out the signal over there where she is, and we'll get it figured out. It's a work in progress, but the sound is still very good, so definitely worth it. Not bad.
Okay. That's something very rare with me. The sound is good, man. For those of you that don't know, I'm making a self-deprecating joke about being partially deaf.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
Um, Yeah, I'm just jealous because I've been literally every night dreaming about Fair because I miss it. And I'm
Yeah,
dying and I want to come back and I'm
I hear you.
ready.
I hear you. And you know, hopefully, maybe you're looking at trying to come down towards the end of Sherwood and coming down for a few weekends, maybe, but that we're still
Fingers.
unsure if that's going to work out. So here's
Yeah.
hoping. Here's hoping.
I mean, we can be totally crass here and be like, hey, if you would like to see Black Lips Bonnie on a stage, um, especially at Sherwood, talk to the powers that be and say, hey, man, you know who I really like? I really like that Black Lips Bonnie. I hear she's trying to tour again,
Right,
be
right,
subtle
right.
about it. Or, alternately, if you happen to know someone who needs help for the last 3 weekends, like I'm really good in a shop too, but
True.
I'd rather be on a stage.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but let's be honest. Even being in a shop is a little bit like being on stage.
Yeah. Oh, the way I do it, absolutely. I still I have bragging rights here.
Oh,
I So for those of you that did not visit me at King Richard's last year, my tent was very near to the King's stage where Jacques the Whipper performs. And of course he comes out and, does his own like well, he doesn't really try to get in an audience in, but he calls out, he hawks a little bit with like "Whippy," and is fairly loud
of
and
course.
mic'd. I'm louder.
Well, maybe the
Miss
whip is a little louder.
Oh yeah, no, the whip definitely gets louder, but that's
Okay.
that's another story.
That's that sound barrier
Um,
thing. So, I mean, unfair
yeah.
advantage.
Every once in a while in the mornings when he'd be warming up or something, suddenly I'd just hear a crack and it'd make you jump. Like even if you're expecting it, you're like, oh crap. So funny guy. I definitely gave him a bar of soap as a tip at the end of the year.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, because Frenchmen and all that.
Well, naturally, they like their fruity soaps.
I was just going with that Frenchman stink, but that's a whole nother.
Oh, that too. Okay, there's that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, honestly, same. I don't, Kat, I'm with you. I don't hawk during shows usually. It's always like at the end of the show when the crowds are leaving, I'm trying to grab those crowds.
Ah,
That's
right.
etiquette.
Right.
So,
Yeah, that's all. Same with lane work when you're working in the lanes. You know, they have the stage shows, and you try to work the crowd flow to and from shows. So yeah, entertained for that. So I totally get that. Hmm.
I mean, that was kind of the nice thing about Colorado, sitting in that booth right after like Zilch or the Reelin' Rogues or Dragonfire would end. I'd just sit there shining, and that usually got a good crowd of people.
Excellent.
So,
Excellent.
you know. Plus,
Well,
I had a great front row seat to watch all those shows while I was sitting in my booth.
I mean, what's your favorite thing about Fair? About opening weekend at Fair?
Oh, about opening weekend.
Yeah,
I
opening
was gonna say
weekend.
about Fair. That could be
That's
an
a tough one.
hour-long
That's why I was like, I
discussion.
better qualify that. So we'll say, and actually, all of you watching, what's your favorite thing about opening weekend?
Um, I have to say probably any opening weekend, it's always figuring out who's at the show.
Right,
Like,
the schedule.
I mean, I most of my friends will tease me that I can walk into a show and like I know every third person.
Hmm.
That wasn't the case at King Richard's, but it's weirdly the case in most places. I
Yeah.
went down to restock at New York from my boss and literally ran into 3 people. So,
Well, the schedule can get really strange. I mean, there were a few typos on the schedule for the first weekend in Sherwood, and that was interesting. Like there was one stage time where the guy on the schedule isn't even there this year, so he was there from last year.
oops.
So I think it was just some editing and some typos. But I mean, I always like to say the first weekend is always a little, just working the bugs out.
I mean, that's also, let's be real, there's some festivals will do like a dress rehearsal weekend to try to get some of the kinks out. But there's always like I mean, there for a while I thought I wanted to be a wedding planner, and I always tell friends who are getting married, something's gonna go wrong day of because it's a big event. Like something always goes wrong. It's the number one thing of event planning. So I don't know.
Makes sense. Yeah, yeah, it is a fun time. And yeah, that first weekend, it's one of those where it's so overwhelming and comforting at the same time when you haven't been to a fair for a little while. It's an odd combination because normally overwhelming is stressful, but comforting uh, brings you in and makes you feel at home. So it's really strange, but yeah, it's just so much fun. I've had several people in my life tell me that they've never seen me happier than when I'm on stage. And I fought that at first, thinking, "Oh, I don't know about that," but they're probably right. They probably are. I'll be honest.
Oh,
It
you're always, I mean, having met you at a convention,
okay. There's that.
like as much as you're in your element and being a giant dork there, like you are definitely happy when you're on a stage.
Yeah, I just kind of
So
licensed to be myself, so that makes it easier.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I've always said that the thing with being on stage, I know for some people it's very intimidating, but once I got it through my head that what's the worst that can happen? I mean, in fact, the best shows for the audience are normally the ones that are completely screwed up, and it's all how you react to it. You just have fun with it, roll with it, have fun with that situation, and the audience just thinks it's the best show ever. And if you can pull
Oh,
that off
so many
and not
memories.
stress over, just have fun, roll with those punches. Um, that's the worst thing that can happen. Your show gets better. I mean, all of the worry and stress just melts away, and it's pretty easy. I mean, of course, I also have an advantage. I don't have a scripted show, so
Yeah.
it's a lot easier when you don't have to have this memorization thing that has to flow and timing and all of that. For me, it's just me being me and hanging out with my friends and playing music. So it's a little less stressful. So I admit it's an unfair advantage. But, a lot of musicians don't
Oh, yeah.
exactly have scripted shows like other performers, um,
Well,
where
I mean,
where you have
honestly,
to.
as a storyteller, I don't have a scripted show necessarily.
True.
Like, if I get a bunch of kids sitting down, I'm not gonna tell them the deep, dark, scary story where
Well,
people get
sure.
stabbed. Like,
I think the best shows are modular, where
yeah.
you can just plug and chug, whatever's fit for the occasion, and you don't necessarily know what's coming next. You say you do one thing, and then based on the audience response and who's out there and everything, that determines what comes next, not some set list. And um, my old bandmate and I, we always used to joke on stage that we'd do a set list and Mark would never follow it. And while it was mostly joking, it's also true. We'd have a set list just in case we were both completely brain dead and couldn't think, as something to fall back on. But generally, no. I mean, it's a placeholder at best. You really want to be adaptable, and it can be intimidating at first, but once you get used to it, all of your shows are better, and your stress level gets lower too.
I actually had a, so I've referenced them before. I was adopted by an Irish dance troupe.
Oh,
Um, and one of my shows, like this kid sat down who was like the main kid who adopted me. I don't know why kids love Bonnie, but kids love Bonnie. And yeah, there's one story that I always would end with like, but that's a story for another day.
right.
And he's like, I want to hear that story. And told him, well, we don't have it done yet. So we sat there and literally I'm on stage basically taking improv suggestions from this child and enjoying the heck out of it and just, you know, There was another time a kid piped up and was like, I want to hear a story about my brother. He's a wizard and he loves mermaids and his favorite animal is a cow. And it's like the most unhinged improv suggestion you could have gotten. And I ran with it.
Wow.
Very proud of
Okay.
that story.
There's a lot of possibilities there.
I turned it into an underwater zoo and a quest for a sea chicken.
Good, because Murkow is going to start getting weird if you went that route. Yeah, right?
God, I miss being on a stage. See, for me, it's just that I have no shame. Like,
That does help.
that's my advantage. You cannot embarrass me. I might turn red in character, but a lot of that is me reacting because I'm a method actor. So,
I'm kind of different. I can get embarrassed surprisingly easy, but I just roll with it and don't mind. So that's the trick.
I've done it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You've embarrassed
Scarlet.
me.
It was beautiful.
Oh yeah. Yeah. All of my friends have, at least at one point. It happens. But that's the trick. You just don't mind. I mean, it's just like, okay. You just kind of get embarrassed and you just go with it because so what? I mean, it's really and Greg went with manatee. Oh, that's
yeah.
dangerous.
Oh yeah,
too.
no, a manatee is just a sea cow. He's right.
Right. Okay. I was going mercow, but that works.
Lisa, thank you for all the gold you provide me. You and I don't know if we've actually met yet because, well, COVID has taken away a bunch of memory from me, but like when we do, we're going to cause so much trouble.
Yep, it's a living. Oh, mercy.
Oh,
but
the puns are the best.
Oh, now for all of you watching, I did turn on captions, subtitles on YouTube. I'm not quite sure how to do it for a live show on Facebook yet. I'm trying to figure that out, but I think it may be something I have to do after the fact, not during. But for YouTube, you can do it, set it up to, I think, live, and I did enable that. So if that matters to any of you, you can check that out and see how those work for you. I know they're not insanely accurate, but it's better than nothing if you need them.
We need to just get the tracks uploaded after the fact. I could probably do that, but
that might be a possibility. But it is something that somebody asked me about last year about wanting more subtitles and making sure that happens. So I have been trying to figure that out. And on YouTube, yes, Facebook's a little weirder. So yeah. Oh, you're seeing captions on Facebook? I tried to enable it, but I didn't know if it was working. So that's good. Okay. So that makes me feel better. Thank you. That is good information. So if that's the case, then okay, we won.
Yeah, I actually just got it to enable, and it looks like it's doing okay.
Okay, wow. Excellent.
Nice.
That is great to know. Because, yeah, I went in and I didn't have... The weird thing about Facebook is it's really bad about telling you if something is actually happening. You can try to enable stuff, but it's like, I have no idea. YouTube is a little better about that. And Facebook keeps moving stuff around in its interface, where YouTube has been pretty static for the last few years with how it's set up on the screen. So I thought I'd enabled it, but I wasn't quite sure. So that's okay. That makes me feel better. Woo! Oh, okay. So Janine got that. Okay. So YouTube is working. Oh, and Kat's saying maybe it's the app on the phone that it's not as easy. That can be a problem, definitely. Oh, Gwendolyn's saying no captions this time. So some people are seeing and some aren't. Well, Facebook. I'm still looking into it and trying to figure it out. And if any of you have ever actually figured out Facebook, please let me know. I'd be curious. Because wow, yeah. Yeah.
Man, I've been trying to go viral since that was a thing. Come on. Yeah. I'm just apparently not funny enough to go viral.
Oh, no, come on. Don't do that. But I do need to go ahead and tell you about the upcoming fairs. Because there is a new one on the list. So it is an important thing to talk about. So let's jump over there real quick to the Faire map, and you'll notice, ooh, a little Oklahoma love. So yeah, let's jump over here and have a little fun for the cats with the ever so popular, ever so popular red dot. Woohoo! Okay, starting here, we have in Florida, the Bay City Renaissance Festival in Dade City, Florida. It's on weekend 4 out of 7, and it is Viking Invasion weekend. So then we go down to the Florida Renaissance Festival, just a hop, skip, and a jump away, in Deerfield Beach, Florida, weekend 6 out of 8, and it is Pirate Invasion weekend, swashbucklers and scallywags. Then jumping over to Oklahoma, we have a one weekend only fair, the Grand Lake Renaissance Festival in Veneta, Oklahoma, over way in the northeast corner up there. So then, of course, where I'm going to be down in Texas at the Sherwood Forest Fair, it's going to be weekend 2 out of 8. Wow. Last weekend went so quick. I was shocked how it just flew by. I hope the rest of the season doesn't fly by that quick. In McDade, Texas, so it's weekend 2. Then going over to Arizona, we have the Arizona Renaissance Festival in Apache Junction. It's weekend 6 out of 9, so we're starting to get towards the last bit of Arizona now. Wizards and Wonder weekend. So there you go. Little fair love for you to look forward to for the weekend. Woohoo! Oh, wow. Okay. And Janine says that the cats are not allowed to use the internet. Well, that's fair. That's fair. Totally understand. So, right. Let's and it's already after 7:30. What in the world happened? I guess we are having fun. So let's go ahead and jump over to 7 reasons. And I was trying to think of a good 7 reasons for this week, and I guess I did kind of talk about it a little bit. So let's do a 7 reasons opening weekends are awesome. And I mean, this is not just opening weekend, but opening weekend for the season, the fair season for me. I know a few other fairs have been going on since January, but for me, this is the beginning. So yeah, kind of cool. Let's jump in there and say number 7. The 7th reason why opening weekend is awesome. You get to see old friends, and we kind of talked about that already. Because for some of them, it's you only see them at that fair. So it's been almost a year since I've seen them, and that's just I mean, you get used to that as a traveling performer, but still, I mean, it's always just this sort of reunion that just constantly goes on different points of the year, another reunion again and again, and it's a lot of fun to see these people again, hear about what's been going on in their lives, and catch up, and just have a good time. It's a fun dynamic. It's very different. Number 6. And I mentioned this one too already. It kicks your butt in a good way. It reminds me of how lazy I've been the last month and not been, walking for 10 miles every weekend, which I should have been doing. So yes, it kicked my butt pretty hard, but it was a good reminder of okay, time to time to take it seriously and get back in the groove. So it didn't hit me as hard as previous years, I will say that, but it was still I was pretty wiped. All right, number 5. It's dress rehearsal for performers. I mean, on cast at fairs, they've normally been there for probably a few months before they go through all these rehearsals weekend after weekend going out there. So for them, first weekend is the performance. But for traveling stage performers, we weren't there at the dress rehearsals. So for us, it's like, okay, let's try this. Let's check and see if the sound works and if our setup is okay and where maybe our new stage is and how to better perform and entertain the crowd at this different stage. I mean, it's all experimentation for the first weekend. And I know that some fans and patrons, they will appreciate the first weekend because it's a little chaotic, but in a fun way because nobody knows what's going to happen and everybody just rolls with it. So it's kind of cool, kind of just a cool experience. So yeah, okay. Number 4, you get to meet new people because, well, there are new people on cast, new performers that maybe haven't played that Faire before, that maybe you're even sharing a stage with them. It's just, you get to meet new people. So you constantly have that influx of new performers, which is a lot of fun. I really like that. It's never boring, and there's no stagnation at Faire. Let's put it that way. Number 3, Faire food, and this is definitely Alicia's. I can already hear her in my giggling giddily in my headset. Yes, she all about the Faire food because it is a treat that when you're home you just don't get, and that's usually the best type of Faire um, food, whether it's a Renaissance Fair or a state fair. They always try to make food that you cannot get anywhere else. So yeah, it's a fun experience, and you tend to miss it. You tend to miss it. So number two, and this is strictly for Sherwood because it's mainly, but for me this time. But at other fairs, they tend to do it too, where the first weekend is usually theme free. There's no theme, and I have a love-hate relationship with themes. Sometimes I think they're a good idea. Sometimes I think they kind of fall flat and they're a little forced. But the first weekend, normally they just say opening weekend and that's it. And I kind of appreciate that. That's not to say that at Sherwood I didn't see an entire contingent of people representing the characters from Firefly, because I did. I mean, you get some interesting outfits and groups and cosplayers and everything, but that's okay. I mean, the classic stormtrooper in a kilt from 20 years ago that started out at Faire, and the people from 30 years ago that dressed up as in their Star Trek uniform, pretending that they were on a primitive planet. I mean, it's the old classic jokes, and if that's my view, generally is wear whatever you want as long as you're having fun. So I totally get it. And number one reason why opening weekend is awesome, and I mentioned this too, but it deserves to be restated. I get to play music with others. I mean, that is so much fun. It's so creatively fulfilling. I have trouble expressing how much giddiness and joy it brings me. So yes, very much. Woo! Yeah. Yeah, Kurt, the Renaissance theme for that for that first weekend. Kind of, yeah. I mean, unless it's a medieval fair, then it's the medieval theme. But yes, you get the idea. Yes. Yeah, method acting. I mean, sort of. The whole concept of all the world's a stage. I mean, life is improv. You never know what's happening next. So, being on stage is just another part of life. um, Janine's asking a good question. Do the same people come back as audience for a themed weekend, or are most either ors? Not necessarily. I think generally what happens in my experience is people will say, "Oh, okay, the fair's coming this year and about to start again, and I want to go out for a weekend. Which one should I choose?" And this sort of gives them an easier time of picking one that works with a theme that that's close to their heart. I think that's the gist of why theming started. Also, to try to get some of the people who dress up for conventions to give them an excuse to come to fairs and make more money. But I think it does kind of work. I mean, it's not too bad. But no, I don't think it's quite an either or thing. I mean, there are plenty of people that come for several weekends. Yes, I'm looking at you, Jen. So yeah, always the music. There you go. Hmm. And yeah, thanks, Greg. I appreciate that. Yeah, I think they are so much fun. Yeah, it's just a fun time, and the goal, I think, of everybody on cast and everybody on stage is to have as much fun as we can, and to try to bring everybody there at Faire along for the ride. So we're having fun, and we want you to come in and have fun with us. And if we're all having fun, it's going to be a great weekend. That's, in a nutshell, that's kind of the way of thinking that we all have on that. It just kind of works. Woo! Yeah, always good. Ah, yes. Those Harry Potter cosplayers who will do the wizarding weekends. Definitely a thing. Well, it's already after 7:40. Let's jump back in and bring Alicia. Alicia. Ooh, I didn't say that. Alicia. I'm tired, okay? I already said that at the beginning. The things she's saying in my earphone right now, I don't think I'm going to bring her on. In fact, no, we're just going to end it here. No, we'll bring her on. Don't kill me. Wow. Okay. Hi.
Mhm.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Mhm.
It's just a little slip of the tongue, mispronunciation. I caught myself and I realized it because
Yeah. Just for that, you're gonna have to, like, if I make it down to Sherwood, when I make it down to Sherwood, you're buying me ice cream for that one.
oh, totally, that's fair. That is totally fair. In fact, if you can make it down, I'm buying you ice cream just for the thrill of having you down here because it's been so long since I've seen you. So yeah, totally.
Amy's.
Of course, Amy's. For those of you that don't know, there is a local ice cream chain called Amy's Ice Cream. They've extended in different parts of Texas, and I think even a little outside of Texas now, maybe.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Maybe. I'm not sure if they've gone past or not, but around Texas at least, and it's they are just really fun flavors, good quality ice cream. You know, the kind of stuff that you just have fun with. So, and they have some alcoholic ice cream if you're into the
Maybe that's what it has to be.
into that
Because
sort of thing.
Damaris is right. You are getting off easy. Maybe it has to be alcoholic.
That's fine.
Medicine. I don't
Totally.
know.
Yeah. Get no problem. No problem. I mean, yeah.
Right, I'm switching up cups here on you guys.
If you're coming down to Austin, you definitely deserve ice cream. So that's like, yeah, no problem. No problem.
I mean, I have a full plan of, like, Amy's, Whataburger,
Totally great.
OMG Squee is gonna happen.
Mhm.
Like, just all the Austin things.
Good.
So, I mean,
We'll
in
have
case you guys didn't realize, I may or may not have a thing for food. Like, I love food, and it's just,
we'll have to do an Austin tour, and we can take pictures as we go around and see everything. I like this. This
Oh
is
my
a good plan. It's a good plan.
this is gonna be so much fun. Hey guys, remember, bug in ear of important people. You want Bonnie on a stage.
Totally. Oh man. Okay.
Oh man,
We'll have a
food.
good time. And a new brothels. Okay, the Tipsy Cow. It does liquor ice cream. Okay, that doesn't surprise me. Yeah, that's
When I went to
classic.
college, there was a great place that did called Sparky's in Columbia, Missouri.
Okay.
That was a good place. You never used your credit card there because their credit card system was always getting hacked. But
I think that sounds.
yeah.
I think I was there. I think I've been there because that sounds really familiar.
It's been around long enough. You probably had been
Ouch!
when you went.
It's been around long enough. Oh.
That wasn't meant as a burn, but I'll take it.
Okay.
You earned it.
Okay, we're coming back to even again. Okay.
Oh no, I was just meaning it's been around a while, so people have heard it. But
Sure.
it's one of those places with, like, velvet portraits and stuff, and
Fair
the
enough.
way to be.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's been a while since I've hung out in Columbia, but I do remember it well. It was
Pre-elderly. Lisa said it, not me.
thanks for that.
And no, Greg, I did not have my credit card information stolen, thank God, but I had several friends who did.
Oh mercy. Okay.
Oh,
Well, on
even
that
the
note,
accidental burns.
let's call it here and say, yeah. I know that I mentioned And yes, I'm thinking of Chris Dobie because she's probably saying, you're going to do music at the beginning of the month. And I'm going to hear that on some comment somewhere. So I'm just going to preempt that with saying that I thought about it, but I was really wiped after the first weekend. So music will be next Monday, I promise. So
He
no
set
worries.
himself up for failure, y'all.
Well,
He
I
did.
mean, I said, beginning of next month, but I didn't say exactly the date. I mean, it's still
To be
early.
fair, you're the one who also chose Mondays for Fairlife. I distinctly remember a former co-producer trying to tell you don't do Mondays. Mondays will suck.
And yeah. But I had reasons, and I thought that yeah, I'll be a little tired, but it would be better to try to put it all together, the weekend and Fairlife in one, 3-day segment if I can, and then I'll have the rest of the days to travel or do other stuff, and it would make more sense for me to do like Friday night or Monday night, so that I could, after I'm done with Fair, I can stay in town and then get on the road Tuesday morning and approach it that way. So I had a rational thought process, but yeah, I regret it. I'm not gonna lie, but
It's okay.
but I'm not gonna change it either because I think everybody's used to it on Monday. Actually, that's a good question. If anybody thinks I should change it to a separate day, let me know. But I'm kind of used to it on Monday now. I kind of like it in a
Mondays are
odd.
fun. It's a good wrap up and a good like
Yeah,
time to actually plan. If people
yeah.
see, oh, there's a fair that's within
Yeah,
two
I
hours
like
of
I
me,
like
they can
having
plan
the
for it.
upcoming
Yeah.
fairs and having more than just a couple of days notice on when they're going to be. So I think that's important. And I thought about doing weather forecasts, but a week before they're not accurate. So I've kind of stopped doing that. It just didn't make as much sense. But yeah. Ah.
Well, we do have some other things in the works, so maybe we'll see about putting those out on not Mondays.
Well, that's going to be the thing. Yeah, I mean that's the other thing. I figured that other shows and events will fill up those other times, and either way, we'll be doing something on Monday in the future. So I might as well make it this approach it that way. And yeah, see, I figured everybody would like Mondays. You kind of get in that habit now. I mean, after a few years, kind of the thing, kind of the way. But okay, well,
Yeah.
thanks
It
for the
might be
feedback
time
as
for my
always.
Monday treats. So yeah,
Right.
let's
Thanks for the feedback as always, and always a pleasure. Thanks for joining us, Alicia, as always, and in comments and in audio and video form. So always
scary,
appreciated.
right?
I know, totally. But this is still work in progress. We'll get the video tweaked in the future, hopefully, and get a better connection.
Hopefully.
But it's always a work in progress. But we keep going, never never settling. So take care. Have a good time. Good week. And as always, a fair life. Take care.